A wise woman once said, "If you want my future, forget my past." But little did she know how quickly the pop music audience could forget, and indeed they would. Too much of something is bad enough, but something's coming over me to make me wonder if too much of nothing is just as tough. So here's a chance to remember. So here's a popcast that does justice for the forgotten pop gems of the last 20 years. So here's the story from A to Z. What do you think about that? Now you know how I feel. This is Pod of the Pops.
You're listening to
Pod of the Pops, the podcast that relives and reloves pop culture. Hello, welcome to our new podcast. I am comedian Erin Twitchin, an English rose between two Scottish thistles. I'm joined by my friends Karen and Lauren.
Hi.
In light of the newly announced 2019 Spice Girls tour, we have decided to start and dedicate a podcast that is exclusively discussing the solo careers of the Spice Girls.
And everything in between.
And everything in between. Many people have asked me, I don't know about you guys, have asked me, why? Why? I have two really good reasons. The main one, is that bloody Geri Halliwell Brexit sign. Do you remember this?
No.
There was a sign that it went viral, and it read, "Brexit is like when Geri Halliwell overestimated her viability as a solo artist and left the Spice Girls."
Burn.
Oh.
I was triggered. I was tagged in it by 10 people who presumably overestimated their ability to predict my opinions.
I think it's one of those things where I'm like, did I tag you in it?
You did, actually. Sorry, Lauren.
Sorry.
Triggered.
I mean, if I thought about it, I might have.
It's funny as a joke, but I love a joke that's correct. It was just so, because it's like people forgot Geri Halliwell was the first British solo artist to have 4 number 1 records. That was the front page news for years, that sold books, merchandise,
She was
albums.
huge in Spanish-speaking countries because she sung in Spanish.
I mean, because she
was
said she was Spanish.
the only one who
time.
didn't go to stage school out of Spice Girls as well.
Exactly. Coming in with the facts there, Karen.
There we go.
What it should have read is, "This is like when Kerry Katona overestimated her viability and freed Atomic Kitten from the weight that was herself." That I could have got on board with.
Savage.
So I was mad about that.
Yeah.
And then recently, when they announced the tour, I read an article that rated their earnings since the Spice Girls and managed to summarise the entire 18 years of their careers in one paragraph. And I just felt like it was very dismissive and didn't appreciate the legacy left behind by one of the world's greatest vocalists, Victoria Beckhams and Adams.
Well, this is something to be debated later, for sure.
Getting it out there early.
Yeah.
I stand a BB vocal.
I think this is probably a good time to put in a disclaimer to say that we are going to give our own opinions, and whether or not they be right or not. We're going to have some discussion, and we're happy for you guys to chip in the discussion with our social. We'll give you the links later.
If you agree with me, at Pod of the Pops. If you don't agree with me, jog on.
But yeah, just to say, everything we say comes from a place of love.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Admiration.
And
justice for.
We want justice for them. We want them to be fully appreciated. People know the real story.
Yeah. So this podcast will do just that. It's going to do justice to the solo careers of the 5 girls who changed the shape of pop culture forever, proving they are more than just platform shoes and pigtails. It's reminding us of all the things you didn't know you forgot. Each episode will be going in-depth into their music, personal and business endeavours that led us to this current reunion, and hopefully explaining why we are now Quad Spice. The Quad Spice vehicle is on the road again.
Yes.
So by the end of it, you should know, you should not only be entertained, but you should be thoroughly informed. You can stand at the concert in your catsuit knowing the significance of the herstory that brought you here. But you are probably thinking... Yeah, who do we think we are? Well, I'm comedian Erin Twitchen, and these are my two friends. So we thought it would be fun to introduce ourselves by giving each other spice names.
Yeah.
So Lauren, we're going to give you yours first. Karen, you do it.
Yeah, so...
Hi everyone. I don't know what they've thought up, so...
Oh, there's surprises.
Eerily awaiting.
Eerily or
Eerily or eagerly.
The music
Eagerly, yeah.
Yeah, so we had a sort of discussion about Lauren, and
separately.
basically Lauren is a must-have as a friend, because if there's anything you ever need doing...
Yeah, shiz goes down.
Yeah, whether it's technical issues, whether it's anything to do with costume, makeup, you know, Lauren, yeah, she can help. So we came up with the name Fix It Spice.
Oh, guys!
I mean,
Because-
we literally did
yeah.
that today, setting up the podcast. Me and Karen had one go, and then walked away to decide the name and left Lauren to fix it.
So it seemed pretty
Yeah.
ideal.
Oh,
Fix It
I'm gonna
Spice.
cry like Mel B at the end of the Viva Forever documentary.
Oh, please don't.
Oh, dropping in the knowledge.
Talking in the knowledge. Yeah, thank you guys. That was very moving. Considering what I've thought up for you guys, now I feel very inadequate.
Oh, dear.
What is your first memory of the Spice Girls? We're all going to do this.
Okay,
First.
so first memory, I think it was when they were on Top of the Pops. I believe it wasn't their very first appearance, because I think that one was in Tokyo, where they were.
Oh, when they first went to number one, yeah.
Yes, yeah, so I didn't actually see that one, but what I do remember is seeing, maybe it was the week after,
Yeah.
it was the one appearance where they were in the studio and they got people from the audience up to dance with them on the stage. And I remember just being like, wowed. I'd never seen anybody do that before. They were just
Yeah.
such a breath of fresh air.
It is worth noting we were kids at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So to give
yeah.
context to this,
We are.
at
young
that
and
time I would have been 8.
Yeah.
No social media, and
Oh, God.
that was why it was so, like, because it's not like you
Yeah.
heard things through on the grapevine, like,
Yeah.
they were just there.
You
on
literally
television.
heard it in the playground.
Yeah, it was the rumours on the playground, and okay,
That's
that
true, actually.
goes into, like, then a lot of my memories concerning them are about their merchandise, about, like, for instance, you know, the Spice Girls photos. They were like the girls' equivalent.
Those photos
Were amazing. They were the equivalent of like Pokemon cards or
They
whatever.
came out
on the
before
play-
that, actually.
They did,
And
yeah.
like Pogs. Do you remember Pogs?
Yes.
The tiny things that you threw down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
never thought of it like that, because
Yeah.
do you remember, we grew up, Lauren and Karen grew up together, but I grew up deep Devon. Did people used to trade them as well? Like,
Yeah, it was
if
very
we-
competitive.
yeah, and they were like special ones.
yes, and you hoarded them. So, but the Spice Girls photos were the same thing, and it was like they were so like entrenched in your everyday life. Was every break you would get out your Spice Girls photos, go into the playground.
Yeah.
And deal with, like, do you have this one? Can I swap you for this one?
We had albums for them.
Oh,
as
we
well.
had
Yeah, I
specific
think that was an
albums for
official
them.
album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So all of that, it was just like they were so like intertwined with that period of our lives.
Yeah.
I feel like,
A really formative period as
yeah.
well.
I mean, who could forget Victoria on the toilet?
I still remember that because she had the short skirt on, didn't she? And her legs were.
Yeah.
I don't
But it
think-
was like
yeah.
it was like a pretend candid shot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
somebody had.
I can't sit on a toilet without doing that shot. Like, I swear down, like, I do that shot, like, I'm pretty sure I recently did an Insta, which was 2 photos of me on holiday, like, how I think I look on holiday and how I
Yeah.
really look, which
Yes.
is me. There was a phone by the toilet.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm pretty sure I must have got that from, so still now, 20 years later,
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Do you think they were posed for the photos?
Oh God, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah,
I
massively.
like to imagine that some of them weren't.
Yeah.
Or,
A
I
lot of
mean,
it.
I do get the impression that they maybe just had photographers like
Oh,
just hanging
They had a
around
videographer
them
because, you
all
know,
the time.
after that first year there was that 1 hour of Spice Power, the video. Did you have that?
Oh no!
It's so good. I'll find it on YouTube for you.
Oh my
and it
God,
was like
please do.
basically they had someone filming them a lot of the time, like in interviews and on the video sets, and then they sit down on the sofa and they watch it together.
Oh, really?
They watch it back and they talk about it. So all that early footage that you see in all the documentaries, and
Uh-huh.
whenever they do like news clips, it's all the stuff of when they're
Right, yeah.
even in the early days before they got the recording
Yes,
contract.
yeah.
So I think they were really smart about. I don't know if it was them or management were really smart about let's capture as much of this.
Yeah.
Because then it's sort of like early social media, isn't it, in a way?
Yes, yeah.
Because that's what we do now. We're constantly
Yes.
filming stuff, taking pictures of stuff.
Yeah. But that was
They were doing that.
You had to really pre-plan it back in the day, in the old 90s. Yeah, it's a huge point because when you watch these documentaries, the fact that there is the footage of them in the house, their original house, all together.
I think it's literally. I've watched that footage a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's one night. Because you see,
Right.
I think it's 1 or 2 nights.
Yes.
You get the impression that they were always filming this stuff. I've watched and you see the same clips come up. I think they may be, but very clever of the management or whoever first did that. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of the girls.
No,
yeah,
pretty unique.
Jerry, maybe.
Yeah, Geri was the ideas, and we'll get into it later.
We're going to get into that later.
But Victoria, I think, was the business.
Yes, she always has been.
Yeah.
Smart.
How much of the merch did you have, Karen?
Oh, I had so much. Well, not as much as Lauren. Lauren had 2 younger sisters, so when it was Christmases and birthdays, obviously they all had more, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Mathematically. I have 1 brother. He's 10 years older, so I grew up listening to like Nirvana, Unplugged, and Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. So when the Spice Girls came out, it was just news to me. I loved these bands, but I found something that was totally for me, for my age. I loved it. I don't have a specific first memory, but I remember growing up with all the merchandise. I had the packed lunch box. I remember it was bright pink, but it was rubbish. Really thin plastic, and I skipped over it one day and broke it. I still hurts.
You don't remember the first Spice Girls, you remember the first merch you broke. That's how deep it goes.
But yeah, just completely obsessed, and I think because everyone was so obsessed, I think it was like just a big swarm of fans.
A collective.
Yeah, it was a collective hysteria in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was also the fact that they had at the core of it, they actually had quite inclusive message that was appropriate for young women.
Yeah.
The whole girl power and you can do anything, and what is really, I mean, I'll probably rant about this later, but like the start of like fourth wave feminism, like that kind of idea of just do what you like and believe in yourself and support other women. And I think we're very lucky to have had that kind of pop culture influence with those messages at a time where you didn't have a lot of people saying that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But had the beanbags, had all of everything. They were actually, I mean, my mother has said this. She was like, I didn't have a problem with buying you those things because I actually felt it was quite wholesome. Like, I felt like
they did have a very clean image
at the start
to begin with.
Yeah. It was
so, Karen, your Spice name.
Oh, I'm nervous.
So
we debated.
We debated. We
Should
were.
we give you
some
the
of them were quite mean. Now that you've given me like a lovely,
which I did know at the time when I was coming up with Karen's.
Okay.
I'm a little bit intrigued. Go through them.
Well, you nearly got based on.
I thought you were going to say basic spice.
Basic spice.
Basic spice.
Basic Spice.
Sorry, kids.
Keeping the swears out dead early on. They were so wholesome for 13 minutes. Well, you nearly, just because of this week's WhatsApp, you were very nearly fair weather politics Spice. Karen's really good at speaking her mind when it's not someone she knows.
Anyway,
so instead,
we were like, she's got a lot of opinions that we can respect, obviously.
Yeah.
So we were like, opinionated Spice, but we're like, no.
We're like, she's the person you can go to when you honestly want someone, like I did about whether I should text that guy.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, if Karen said no, she tells it to you straight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so you are real Spice.
Real
You always keep it real.
I try to.
I'm glad we went for real Spice, not straight Spice.
Because that's
Tell
hopefully
it
obvious.
Yeah, no, so...
Hopefully.
I don't know, man. So real Spice, beautiful.
So, for Erin...
Oh, God.
we had a little discussion about Erin.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who may know Erin in person or even on his Instagram, he is very muscular.
Oh, okay.
So the
I'll take
original,
that.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a multi-talented person. He is an aerialist. He is very muscular. So we were like muscle spice, but then we were
Sporty
like,
Spice.
yeah. I mean, that's already happened, right? So, and then we were like, a really obvious one would be as a comedian, but just in everyday life as well. He's hysterical. So we were like, funny spice, but we were like, that's lame. So
I'm not actually that funny.
So, you know, inspired by some of your wardrobe, you are sequin spice.
Sequin Spice.
That's right.
I can jump on that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I can take Sequin Spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like precious wear sequins now. This is like when Scary had leopard print one time, and then she was like, and now you never take it off.
Yes.
Yeah. Even at the Olympics, she had a leopard print.
I thought she did a good job
Yeah.
with. I thought actually they all did a really good job of leveling up their outfits for the Olympics. But we'll get to them.
Yeah, we'll get
the
to that.
Olympic
We'll get to
episode's
that.
going to be a good
So,
one.
in conclusion, we are sequin, real, and fix it spice.
Yes.
That's quite good name.
I like it.
I like it.
And inspiring, you know.
Yeah. Or something.
Uplifting.
Yeah.
My first memory of the Spice Girls. So it may have been a similar performance to the one they used. I think they were on like GMTV.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know whether the single was out, but like it was the first time when I was at my friend. I won't name them actually for what comes next. But I was at my friend's house, a boy. He was like a really close friend, and like they were all on, and we knew at the time that they had those names, you know, where it was like Scary, Sporty Pop, but we didn't know what they were all called. And his aunt was like we were working it all out, so we knew like Scary, Sporty, Baby, and Ginger, and we didn't know Posh.
Right.
And his aunt went, "It's I Love Myself Spice."
Wow.
And as I didn't know she was going to go on to be my fave, but I did laugh. So I'm apologising now. I love myself Spice. But funny, so I take that.
Yeah.
The hilarity of that story is, so I remember like me and that male friend were really into the Spice Girls. Like we really loved them for the longest time. And then when we went to secondary school, we sort of didn't hang out anymore because I was deemed a little bit, would you believe this, listener, camp.
How dare they?
I mean, outrageous. I mean, fake fans.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys didn't really hang out with me, and he was one of them. We didn't really hang out.
Right.
And then especially when I became gay, it was awful.
Yeah,
and then the last laugh was sort of had because he's now a gay porn star. I know.
No.
Twist and reveal.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, all those guys at school that were very resistant about the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Probably.
Give
that a U-porn.
Well, you know, it kind of goes to show, doesn't it?
You can never guess. So, that is who we are. What you will find as we go through the episodes is we will dedicate an episode to each of the Spice Girls, pre-first reunion and post-first reunion, and discuss those hiatuses and the reunion. So the next episode that you'll be seeing will be one of my favourite eras, discussing the Forever album.
Oh,
but tinged with sadness because
eh?
Geri's gone.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll go through. So if you want to subscribe, please click on the subscribe button and share with all your friends. You can also catch us at Pod of the Pops on Twitter and
Instagram.
Good. Didn't know whether you'd got that. Well done.
We're Pod of the Pops on all of usual social media platforms. So please give us a follow, give us a comment, all of the above.
And send us any links to any of your friends that may have gone on to do questionable activities in their private lives.
Let us know your thoughts.
View all our bonus content, leave your comments, and join the conversation on our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Talk to us at Pod of the Pops on all platforms.
People in the world,
Subscribe up your life.
Every boy and every girl.
Subscribe up your life.
Pod of the Pops.
Subscribe up your life.
Please subscribe.